Assalamualaikum guys, so welcome to C# Programming Part 2. Still with me, Dr. Ulka. So here we go. Before we dive in, let's do recap. Okay, so in the previous lab you have learned about how to use transform the translate, and then okay, this should be transform the position. Okay, so position. Okay, I mean this one is for the forward and this is for right. So translate is like you ask the object to move forward or to move to the right or to move to the left. Okay, and y factor 3 is xyz. So in Unity, or I think most in like 3D, we use xyz factor, I mean xyz position, where we know where is the position of the object. So factor 3 comes from the xyz, and the factor comes from the, I think it's like default. So but anyway, I just wanna let you know that factor 3 comes from the position of xyz. That's why it's mentioned this is forward, because in this case I want to move the object forward, and always time little the time. Normally it's the time that the object should move. Okay, so this is if you want to do it with the right, and you can also do it with the left. It's up to you. Okay, but this is just the example that I wanna show you. And then let's go with the rotate. So in C# you can go with transform the translate, transform the rotate. Rotate is basically if you wanna rotate the object. Okay, this is because it's wanna rotate the object up. Okay, and again still with the time delta time. Okay, and then transform that position as well. You move the position of the object. Okay, so this, the one in the bracket, you can change it later. Okay, this is just my example. So normally you just have to memorize that translate, rotate, position, and with the transform. Alright, normally we will use translate for different position. Okay, rotate for different rotation, and position also. Okay, but it depends in which context. And anyway, again I want to remind you, you can use minus to direct the object or to move the object to the opposite direction. As well as in Unity, we don't have how to say, we don't have left or right. Okay, so if you use 3, it will be right, I mean going to the right. But if you write minus 3, it will be left. Okay, so we don't have left or right, but we put minus. Minus means the left, like you have the xyz, so this is positive, right? 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. But if you go minus, it will have minus 1, minus 2. So this is the where it comes from, the minus. Alright, so just remember minus means left and no minus means right, or yeah, basically the opposite direction. Okay, so let's go next. Okay, this is where you apply how to move object forward and backwards. You apply the transform, the translate in the bracket factor 3 dot forward times time the delta time. And when you move it, when you want to move it backwards, so you just have to add the minus. Okay, so again, it's basically minus is for moving the object towards the opposite direction. And this is when you rotate the cube. Okay, again, rotate the cube is just transform dot rotate. Okay, and factor 3 dot up times time dot delta time. Okay, and if you want to move it to the other direction, you just have to add the minus. That's simple. So now I would like you to know about class. Okay, this is the basic thing in Unity. I mean in C# programming. So class is the basic foundation from OOP, right? So it contains methods and variable which functions to create an instance from the object. What is an instance anyway? Whereas object itself is as if from class, which represents an object. So this is how it goes. Okay, so this is the class, and below the class it has some different objects. Okay, for example, object 1, object 2, and object 3. So every class can be represented to many objects. The usage of principle above is to make us easier to categorize something which have the same characteristic. Okay, for example, from the car class, we can make some objects like Jazz, Proton, Pero2, and etc. Every object can call property and method which has modifier public access, which is provided in a class. Wait, what does it mean? Okay, this is object, and this is property with the attribute and method with function and procedure. So every object has property and method, right? So therefore, okay, let's see the implementation of class and object in the game, which is the character class, which later can be used object in the player. Okay, so for the example, this is the class. Okay, so the class has two objects. Okay, player 1 and player 2. Okay, so player 1, so the class itself have character. Character consists of properties and methods. Okay, the properties, for example, like the name, the health, the damage, and method like you can move left, you can move right, you can jump, you can attack, right? And how about the object, the character of the object? Okay, for example, from here the properties are player 1, name Deco, health 100, damage 30. Okay guys, so wow, it has the annotation. Wow, great. Okay, anyway, let's continue this. So the first object is Deco, which is player 1, and we have another player, which is player 2, with different name, health, and damage. So this is what happened in the class. So the class has different objects with different characters, but of course they have same methods. Okay, so okay, a character class. Okay, this class is named character. Okay, So the character class has properties and methods, which are name, health, and damage for the properties, and for the methods are you can move left, you can move right, jump, and attack. And this character class has two objects, which are player 1 and player 2, with different name, health, and damage, but with the same method. So in the player object, which is the representation of the character class, you can use and change the value which is provided in properties, but also you can call the methods which is available in the character. So please go and check out this link. I'm pretty sure you have checked this link before. So now let's move on to the inheritance. What is inheritance anyway? So inheritance is a concept of object-oriented programming, which is used to access and use the method of one class from other class. Okay, in inheritance, since it is inherited, of course there should be a base class. Okay, a base class is the class that inherits from the base, is called derived class. So base class and derived class are like mother and son, basically like parents and kids, okay, where the parents is the base class and the kids are the derived class. So when we create a new class, in Unity, it is automatically that the class is derived from mono behavior. Okay, you guys still remember? So mono behavior is the default class of Unity. And in the derived class, which are like update, start, okay, so these are where we can access the function of the mono behavior class from the derived class, which is update and start class. Okay, so this is the example of mono behavior, and you can see that it is start and update. So mono behavior is a base class and start and update are the derived class. Okay, so this is the illustration of in the derived class. Class A and class B. So jump and attack here is inherited to jump and attack in class B. So this is base class and this is derived class. Okay, so if class A has method jump and attack and class B is a derived class A, then class B will have the same method like class A. Furthermore, base class also can be derived to some derived classes. Okay, derived classes can also be derived to other derived classes, means yep, like this. So this is base class and this is derived class and this is derived classes. So class B has the inheritance from class A, this one, yep. Whereas class D is the inheritance from class C and class A. So class D is the derived class from class C and class A. Well, double class. Okay, for example, base class variable A equals to 50. So this class can access variable A only. But in class B, some class variable B equals to 50. This class can be accessed or can access variable A. And another class, the class can access both variable, which is variable B and variable A, because this class is inherited from class A and class B. Okay. So you know what I mean? I hope so. Okay, after that we move on to tree-based modifier, which decide what function which can be derived or not, which are public. So if it's a public class, it has feature in method, property, or variable. It can be derived to the inherited class, but also can be accessed to class which is derived class, because it's public, guys, everyone can access it. But if it's protected, okay, it can be accessed to the class which is not derived class. Okay, so it can be derived to in the inherited class, but it can be accessed to class which is not derived class, so only the base class since it's a protected class. And how about private? It's even more. So it cannot be derived to the inherited class, but it can be accessed to class which is not derived class. So it's similar with the protected, but protected still can derive to the inherited class, but private you cannot derive it to the inherited class. So yeah. Okay, let's make the base class. So please refer to this link, and now we move on to array. Okay, array is used to save the same data type which is gathered as one unit. So this is, for example, the array. So we have a 0 array here, 0 index, 1 in index 1, index 2, index 0, index 3, and index 4, and these are all the data: 50, 20, 30, 10, and 40. So this is the data for each index that we have here. So every index has different data, right? That's why we put here this is integer, because all these data are integer. So bracket, double bracket, my array, and this is new integer. So we put here this is 50, 20, 30, 10, 40. So by this case, we don't know which index do we have. Alright, so we have to put it like this. For example, we want to get the data value 10 in index, so we can write my array in bracket 3. Okay, so just now we save integer data type with 5 data. Okay, and this data can be accessed by index number, which is, for example, this one. We don't put any array that we want, any index that we want, so that's why we just put all array here, all data here. But if you want to put the index that we want, we have to put it my array 3. For example, I want to get 40, so we have to get the my array 4 since it's in index 4. Okay, you see it's in index 4. Alright, so for details, please go to this YouTube channel to know about it. And that's all for today. Thank you for watching. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.